I am returned. Turn off this overlay. Get back to the game. Yeah, I had planned originally to do like an hour in hour sections. I'm pretty easily overwhelmed in in general. Let's eat something. We have all this perishable food. Eat some PB&J, which I'm not actually a fan of in real life, but I bet Darius likes some PB&J. I guess we just keep looting. It's a little boring to just keep looting, but honestly, in the apartment tower, I don't think going outside is really in our best interest at the moment, just because there's so much density on the ground floor. So I think we'll just keep looting for the time being. Yeah, I was gonna break things down into like hour-long chunks for a couple reasons. One, I often feel a little overwhelmed when I record for long periods, so I usually stop and take breaks in between episodes and do stuff around the house. Like today is trash day, so I really ought to go around. Tonight I'm gonna have to go around the house, gather up all the trash, take the cans out to the curb, that kind of thing. Which is not, it's, obviously not a huge time consuming thing, but is one of those things I would normally do in between episodes of recording. And I'm a smoker. I know it's 2020, but I still smoke, and I love smoking. Like, people tell me, oh, you shouldn't smoke. It's like, yeah, but it feels real good to smoke. So I'm going to keep smoking. I really enjoy the act of smoking. I used to vape, but that really made... I had a lot of breathing problems. Like whenever I would vape for like a week or two after the last time I vaped, I could just not breathe. It would be like, I always had trouble explaining it. It was like the air was too thick. It just didn't feel like my lungs were getting everything. It's like when you go outside and it's really humid and it's like you can feel how thick the air is with humidity. It was like that for weeks after I would stop vaping, and I just had to stop because it was just, I couldn't breathe. And then we got all those reports about people dying, and everybody's like, oh, he just jumped on a bandwagon like it's bad to breathe, like you can't breathe when you vape. It's like, no, I just legitimately could not breathe when I vaped. So I like taking breaks to smoke and whatnot. And I watch Northern Lion, and he does a show where he streams, and most of the time when he streams for like 3 or 4 hours at a time. But on a couple days a week, he does a super show, is what he calls it, and everything is broken down into 1 hour chunks. And I was like, that's like a really good idea. I kind of like that. It's kind of like watching television. There's an interim where if you want to step away and grab something for dinner really quick or whatever during a commercial break, you can do that. Me as the person doing the streaming, it gives me a chance to use the bathroom, get another bottle of water, whatever. So I really like the idea of that. So I think I will be doing that more in the future. Was I in this apartment? I don't think I was. I think I was in this apartment. Pumpkin. Weird. Most people don't have pumpkins in their fridge. The bells are chiming in my town. It's actually really nice outside. It's rainy and very cool in my area, which is nice because it's like February, and the last 3 years or so we had really pretty severe blizzards in like February and March. It looks like winter actually is just gonna pass us by without any issues. Man, those bells are loud. So it's kind of nice. It's nice and cool, a little rainy. Thursday is like the worst day of work for me, so I'm not looking forward to going to work tonight, but everything else is mostly fine. Yeah. I listened to Northern Lion, and Dan Giesling just started a podcast where they talk about streamer stuff, which I'm really excited for and have been listening to. And then Dan Giesling also has a... so if you don't know, Dan Giesling is like... He won Big Brother a couple times. Pretty well-known dude for being on Big Brother. He's also a YouTuber and streamer. And his content's a little goofy. He's a little bit of a silly guy. He makes up words on the fly and just has a lot of... there's a lot of goofiness, which I don't think is insulting to him to say that. I think he's just like a goofy, kind of silly dude. And so his content's not really for me, but he has this podcast where he talks a lot about streaming and YouTube stuff. And that really interests me, so I've been listening to that. And just the other night I was listening, and he was doing Q&As, and someone said, what's the best way to get into streaming? How do I start streaming? And his response was, just do it. Just stop thinking about it. Stop worrying about it. Don't worry about overlays. Don't worry about having high quality stuff. Just do it is the best way to do it. The sooner you get more comfortable being on camera, so to speak, the better your stuff will be. And so the sooner you start streaming, the more comfortable you'll be, the better your content will be. And I know that that's a really simple thing of advice to give someone, but like I really kind of respond to that. This is like, we've seen several of these atomic lamps. I think I even picked them up. Powered by the magic of nuclear decay and low energy LEDs, this very expensive lamp will emit a small amount of light for at least a decade. For the Cataclysm, it was mostly an expensive way to show off your preparedness. Now it's actually pretty cool. Use it to close the cover and hide the light. I never use these things, but I know people swear by the atomic stuff in the game. Maybe we will use them. I enjoyed your Slay the Spire series. Have you already gotten bored of it? No, I actually really enjoyed playing Slay the Spire. And I recorded probably 25-ish episodes. But once I started uploading them, they were getting, honestly, like 1 to 2 views. They were doing really, really poorly. And at the time, I was more concerned with getting, more views and more retention on the channel more than anything. And wanted to keep trying new things. Like, basically, my idea for YouTube is to, one, keep playing Cataclysm because it's something I know I enjoy and it's something that has drawn the viewership to begin with. And then 2 is pretty much to scattershot other games that I think I would enjoy and see what sticks and what doesn't. And so I was doing Slay the Spire, and a lot of times like that game wasn't very good for commentary. It was hard to talk about my life or whatever was going on with me, which is what I enjoy talking about when I play games. It was hard to do that because I was really focused on trying to explain why I was doing things. Like when I watch people play Magic the Gathering, for instance, I really hate that people just play and they don't actually explain why they're doing what they're doing. And so I became really focused on like just constantly explaining what I was doing. Wasn't the best commentary. No one really was watching it. It's a little bit of an older game. I think it's a great game. Really, really solid game that I enjoyed playing. But yeah, I just don't think people wanted to see me play it, it seemed like. So I bailed on that. I don't even think I have the footage I had previously recorded anymore. So even if I continued, there would be a big gap of like what I unlocked and stuff like that, because I did play it a fair bit. So probably not going to make a reappearance on the channel unless something major comes out. Like I thought maybe when the 4th character came out, it would drum up a little bit more attention. That's one of the reasons I picked it up, was like I know they're going to release new stuff. And then when the 4th character came and I started playing the 4th character, one, I wasn't, of course I'm not very good at Slay the Spire, but it just seemed like nobody wants to watch me play it. There are better people who have better followings, who understand the game. I just didn't, I'm not that good at it. I was just having fun with it. I really enjoyed seeing how you learn it. I mean, I'm glad to hear that, because I think that I get in my head and I'm like, nobody wants to watch you fail over and over at a new game. But like, that's also kind of the fun of a new game, is learning and trying to be better at something that you've literally never, like I went into that game blind. I had seen a few episodes of people play Slay the Spire, but I didn't know really anything about it. So I also would think that would be an enjoyable thing to watch, but like I said, just didn't do very well. Oh, broken windows. Oh, you probably bailed out over the railing. Yeah, the zombies probably died over the railing. I like Slay the Spire. It was a good game. Definitely, if you've never played it, you should definitely check it out. If you're listening to this and you're on the fence, it's a great game. It really scratched that itch for me, because I was like really wanting to play Magic the Gathering again, but I'm kind of getting fed up with how some of the decisions Wizards of the Coast make, like Magic Arena. seemed really awesome when it came out. I played in the beta, was one of the first people to really get into Magic the Gathering Arena, or among the first group of people, I should say, who got into Magic the Gathering Arena. Seemed real great, and then basically every update that they've done since then has they're not really improving the game. They're just hammering more microtransactions into it. Like, did we really need pets? Like, you could have been evolving the UI and you could have been upgrading the game experience, and instead you gave us a microtransactional pet that literally sits in the corner of the screen. And so just get a little frustrated, and every set they overpower blue. I don't want to ramble. I could talk for hours about how they constantly overpower blue. Not all the colors are viable in every set, and it gets a little frustrating as a fan of the series to be continually disappointed with their offerings. So I was looking for something card-based that I could play. I really like card games. I always have, ever since I was a little boy. My uncle taught me how to play Magic when I was like probably 6 or 7. When that very first set came out, he bought the starter packs and stuff, and it was a really fun experience. My uncle taught me a lot of things growing up. Definitely take a screwdriver. He thinks he's a bad uncle because he was really mean to me when I was... So, like, my uncle's like 10 years older than me. My mom was a teen pregnancy, so they were both very young when I was born. I think my mom was 15. Uncle might have been 12, actually, now that I'm saying it. And I remember being a toddler, and he was like in his early teens, and he did a lot of drugs and stuff. And he would chase me around and shove grass in my mouth. And, like, now, of course, he's like 40 something, or he's like 40, and I'm in my 30s, and every time I see him, he's apologetic, and it's like, I can't believe I did that to you. I was such a bad uncle, whatever. But, like, I don't remember that. What I remember about my uncle is he taught me to play chess, when no one else would spend time with me, and we didn't really have anything. He's the one that took the time. He taught me how to play chess and checkers, and taught me how to play Magic the Gathering. Those are the memories I have. I don't remember being a toddler and him being like 13 and putting grass in my mouth. I don't remember that. But he hates himself for it. It's so silly. I mean, I guess technically that's like child abuse. But you know what I mean? It's like, I don't remember that so much. I just remember him as the cool uncle who would do impressions of Krusty the Clown and stuff like that, A lot of my family is like that. Like, we have... all of us have been very different people at one point or another in my life. Everyone has changed in the family. Like, I went to a Christmas party in December with my family, and it was the first one I went to in years. And it was very, very stressful, very anxious to go and nervous to go. And my cousin that I was close to when I was a kid, who was like, we were the dark, weird ones. Now she's like this really clean-cut, like millennial style mom, and she has a husband and kids, and she's so different. And it's just weird to me to be, because I'm like, I'll be 32 soon. I'm 32, and I still in a lot of ways have like a teen like gothiness to me. Like, I'm still very emo in a lot of ways. If you've watched the channel, you've heard me talk about a lot of things, and I tend to be a little morose and focus on some real negative stuff. But it's weird to me when I see people that I used to like regard as my peers and see that they are... Why am I forgetting this? Why is this blacked out? I'm forgetting the tiles as soon as I leave? That's weird. Like, this apartment is blacked out? We were just here. Like, it's been literally like an hour. I don't know. It's weird to see people progress. Like, sometimes I'll see people from high school and I'll be like, they are very different, and I've very much stagnated over the last couple of years. I don't know. I mean, not that everyone is doing... Oh, there's just no building here. This is just a hole to the ground floor. That makes me think they might have collapsed some stuff underneath. I'm curious, do we want to peek? What time? It's 11 a.m. Definitely is dangerous for us to peek down to the ground floor. Broken outdoors, huh? Headless zombie, not really worrisome. Corpses were not on the ground floor. Okay. Let's pulp these, because they must have fallen down from the upstairs. Let's pulp them since we have the opportunity to do so they don't respawn. Yeah, definitely collapsed right here. Looks like it may even have collapsed on the ground floor as well. We're seeing broken glass here. A lot of them will be jumping off the roof. It's another reason why it's so dangerous to go to the ground floor, is that all the stuff from upstairs will fall to the ground floor. Man, these guys are pathetic. Okay. Who made these things? I mean, jeez, come on. Just kidding. I made them. And they're fine. There's a zombie in the way. There's the zombie in the way. So it's not just a zombie, it's the zombie. So I'm a little worried about who the zombie is. Would you come upstairs, please? Has no interest in moving. We can't safely jump down, so... Hello, zombies. So let's bait some upstairs. Yeah. Hopefully just the one at a time would be nice. We did put on that extra little bit of protection, but it's not, yeah, it's a hoodie. It's not like it's steel armor or anything. Take your cash card, thank you. Did we look at these corpses? No, we didn't. Lighter. Pistachios. Yeah. I don't know, it's peculiar. I don't want to go to the ground floor. Why even do this? It's peculiar to see people that you still think of. Like, not that long ago, I saw a kid who bullied me in school. Like, he was... You know how everybody knows this kid who's, like... Even though he's, like, 13, he has, like, a triple black belt or something? Like, there's one in every school. There's some kid who devoted 100% of his time to martial arts. That was this kid, and he was a huge douchebag about it. And I remember he, like, threatened a kid at our school with it. Like, literally menaced him with a crossbow in his hands. It's like, he was a little psychotic. But he was a bully, and I actually bumped into him. Oh, it was the oil lamps we were seeing. We found an atomic lamp, but most of what I thought was atomic lamps, they were actually oil lamps, now that I'm thinking about it. Man, we must have a lot of oil. This is probably like the 5th one we've seen. So it's interesting. I didn't really think about getting those from an apartment building, but okay. I saw him at a convenience store. I don't know if he recognized me. I usually have my hood on and like a ball cap, so I don't know if he even saw who I was, but like seeing him freaked me out because he had bullied me so much in school that like I couldn't help but feel a little bit like a little kid again and be scared of him somewhat. So that was interesting. That's an interesting dynamic that I wouldn't really have expected. But also he looks old, like he would be my age. We were in the same grade, so he would be like 32-ish, 31, 32. I don't really remember when I saw him. It may not even have been that recent. It might have been a while ago. And he looked older. Like he didn't look like he aged very well. And then he was like, he had this girl hanging all over him. And they're like in a convenience store at like 3 in the morning. Because you know I make deliveries to stores and stuff. And he has this girl hanging all over him. And I swear to God, the girl looked like she was like 14 years old. She looked so young. And I just remember leaving and being like, that's so bizarre to see my high school bully who looks like fat and kind of old. And then he has this girl hanging off of him who looks way too young for him. Like, not so young that it might be his daughter or something. Plus, she was like, when I say hanging off of him, I mean they were like being publicly affectionate is the kind of hanging off of him I mean. And it's like, you would never see me like that. Like, I don't look that old. I look pretty okay for my age. My hair's thinning a little bit. And I definitely have gained weight since high school. But I'm still, like, I look mostly the same, minus the hair thinning. And I would never just, like, let someone hang off of me in public and put my hand in their back pocket and that kind of thing. It was just peculiar to see. Because in my head, right, if I ever had a moment where I thought about him, I would still picture that 16-year-old with a crossbow. You know, I wouldn't picture him being actually my age and being older, looking older and looking out of shape and that kind of stuff. It's just peculiar, I don't know, to see people. And then I mentioned in one of my playthroughs I had seen this girl that I had danced with in high school. and how different it was to see her as well. It's just weird. I don't think about people from my old life too much. Sometimes I think about girls that have gone by the wayside over the years, you know, old relationships that I had. Sometimes I think about high school girlfriends, but usually it's like the girl I was dating when I was like 21 is the one I think about, because she's like pretty the one that got away kind of thing. But I don't know. Life is like that. I'm gonna be 32 soon. I feel old. Always with the cotton. I never find leather trench coats. Underpants, no thank you. Okay, this is a little boring. I am going to head down to the ground floor, I think, and see what we can see. Probably we will end up in a fight. And I don't know that it's really beneficial for us to go down there, but getting a little bored. This is, so if you remember Dead Rising, when Dead Rising came out, it had this infinite mode, and the whole point was to survive as long as possible on the food that's in the mall. Oh, hello. So now we've seen a regular zombie, a tough zombie, a feral runner, and a child zombie. So there is a bit of a horde here. We're going to go back up the stairs. We're going to let them come up to us. Yeah, I thought the feral runner would break first. So we'll pull him over here and deal with him. And I remember playing that mode a lot. Man, you're really giving it to me here, feral runner. Why are you penetrating my hoodie with basically every shot? Strike him, he bites your left arm. Claws at you, torso encumbrance, torso, left arm. Yeah, you're really hitting me. It's because they're fast, so they basically get an attack every turn. But, like, you would think the hoodie would be doing a little bit more for me than this. And it's weird that 10% torso encumbrance is enough to really be an issue, but that's fine. Smash him. Pulped, not really anything. Let's get our stamina back. If we can rest between every combat, that's very good. So child zombies are going to be similar. They're going to be hard to hit, so they're probably going to get a few licks in here. Unfortunately. We really maybe should have grinded our skills a little bit and tried to make something a little bit better. Weapon-wise, I don't know what we would make. I feel guilty for killing the zombie. Actually, I do. Can we make the quarterstaff? I really like the quarterstaff. I guess we need probably fab too. Why don't we grind our fab a little bit? It won't take but a minute. Head up here.